The Zrathka were the galaxy's apex predators, 8 feet tall, covered in midnight black fur with silver stripes, equipped with retractable claws that could slice through reinforced steel. Their homeworld was a death trap of carnivorous flora and even deadlier fauna, and the Zrathka sat firmly at the top of that brutal food chain. So when Katniss Martinez dropped her aviator sunglasses near the ambassador's quarters, she didn't think much of it. She was too busy trying to explain to Ambassador Krelthar why humans needed recreational spaces on the joint military base. "Your species wastes resources on frivolity," the massive Zrathka growled, his triple-jointed legs carrying him in an aggressive circle around her desk. Katniss sighed, pushing her brown hair behind her ear. "With respect, Ambassador, we've been over this. Human psychology requires downtime. We're not machines." What she didn't see were the 3 Zrathka cubs, Krelthar's offspring, who had been playing near the window. The smallest one, barely the size of a human teenager, picked up the fallen sunglasses with careful curiosity. The effect was immediate and profound. The cub slipped the sunglasses on, and suddenly the world transformed. Everything looked different through the darkened lenses, sharper, focused, mysterious. The cub stood a little straighter, moved with more purpose. In the reflection of the window, it saw something new. An investigator. A detective. Someone important. Albert Chen was the first to notice the change. As the base's chief security officer, he made it his business to observe everything. So when he saw 3 Zrathka cubs moving through the corridors in a tight formation, the smallest one wearing what were unmistakably Katniss's missing sunglasses, he stopped mid-stride. What in the... The cubs moved with purpose, stopping at each doorway, appearing to examine the area with exaggerated scrutiny. The one with the sunglasses would pause, tilt its head thoughtfully, then gesture to the others with surprising solemnity. They were patrolling, investigating, playing detective. Albert tapped his communicator. "Martinez, you need to see this." Within an hour, it became a base-wide phenomenon. The cubs had apparently decided they were now the unofficial security team. They checked cargo containers, sniffed around the shuttle bay, and even attempted to interview bewildered personnel by sitting in front of them and making intense, unblinking eye contact. The smallest one, the one with the sunglasses, appeared to be the leader. It had developed a habit of crossing its arms, a gesture it had clearly learned from watching humans, and nodding slowly, as if solving complex mysteries in its head. "They're adorable," Katniss whispered, watching from the observation deck as the cubs investigated a storage closet. "They're the offspring of the galaxy's most dangerous predator species," Albert reminded her, though even he couldn't suppress a smile. "Adorable isn't the word I'd use. Look at how seriously he's taking it," Katniss said, pointing to the cub leader as it examined a maintenance panel with grave concentration. "He thinks he's solving crimes." Ambassador Krelthar arrived with his mate Sharana, both towering over the humans. The ambassador's expression was unreadable. "Explain," he demanded, gesturing toward his offspring. Albert cleared his throat. "Well, Ambassador, your cubs found Specialist Martinez's sunglasses. They appear to have adopted new roles." "Roles?" Sharana's voice was softer, curious. Katniss stepped forward. "They're playing. It's what human children do. They try on different identities, imagine themselves as different things. Heroes, explorers, detectives." Krelthar watched his smallest cub, who was now attempting to measure something with its claws, while the other 2 took what appeared to be notes in the dust. "This is play? It's how we learn," Katniss explained gently. "How we explore possibilities. Your cubs are imagining themselves as investigators, protectors. They're trying on the role of keeping others safe." The ambassador was quiet for a long moment. The Zrathka were warriors, survivors. On their world, cubs learned to hunt and fight almost from birth. Play was minimal utilitarian, practice for real survival, but this was different. This was imagination. Over the following weeks, the Cubs' detective agency became an official, if unofficial, part of base life. Personnel began reporting suspicious activities to the Cubs, who would investigate with utmost seriousness. Someone's lunch missing from the cooler? The Cubs were on the case. Strange noise in the reactor room? They'd check it out. Albert found himself coordinating with them, creating a system of cases for them to solve. Nothing dangerous, missing tools, mysterious footprints, unexplained sounds. The cubs approached each investigation with dedicated professionalism. The smallest one never took off the sunglasses. The real breakthrough came when the cubs actually discovered something important, a coolant leak in the auxiliary systems that the maintenance team had missed. The cubs had been following suspicious wet paw prints and traced them to their source. Krelthar stood in the corridor, watching his offspring receive commendations from the base commander. The smallest one stood at attention, sunglasses gleaming, taking the praise with solemn dignity. "Your species has given my children something I did not know they lacked," the ambassador said quietly to Katniss. "What's that?" "The ability to become something other than what they were born to be." He paused, a gesture among his people that indicated deep thought. "The Zrathka are warriors because we must be. But you're humans. You choose what you become. You play at different lives until you find the one that fits," Katniss smiled. "And sometimes, Ambassador, you find out you're meant to be something you never imagined. Like 3 predator cubs becoming the best detective agency in the sector." Albert chuckled beside her. "Just don't tell them the sunglasses don't actually have any special powers. Are you kidding?" Katniss replied, "Those sunglasses have exactly the power they need, the power to help them see themselves differently." The smallest cub turned, caught her eye, and nodded once, a slow, deliberate gesture of acknowledgement between professionals. Then it returned to its patrol flanked by its siblings, protecting a base full of beings who had learned something valuable. That humans didn't just survive. They didn't just fight. They imagined, they played, they transformed. And sometimes they shared that gift with others. And sometimes that gift came in the form of a pair of aviator sunglasses and the courage to see yourself as something more. End.